Hi there, this is Tom from Fetch Masters Dog Training in Denver, Colorado. Many dog trainers have put together articles and videos that lay out criteria that consumers should use to select dog trainers. Sometimes these articles and videos are self-promotional. They are meant to aim the viewer of the video to that particular dog trainer. Um, and that's valid. I mean, if you don't promote yourself, who's going to? So I'm not knocking that, but that's not what this video is. Um, and sometimes such articles and videos are agenda specific, meaning um, the criteria for selecting a dog trainer become, the dog trainer needs to believe this, practice this way, do that. And that's valid too. I mean, it's a free country. We believe, everybody believes slightly different stuff, and we have our reasons for believing what we believe, and we try to promote that. But that's not what this video is. This video is aimed at giving you some criteria for selecting a dog trainer that I think you will find um, are good common sense measures, regardless of the trainer's training philosophy, who the trainer is. Um, I did not make these things up. In fact, the things I'm about to talk about come from a law that just passed in Miami, Florida, called the Truth in Training Act. And that is apparently the first dog training oversight law passed in the United States. Um, I can't confirm that. I'm not a legal expert, but that's what they're saying about it. So I'll just assume it's true for the sake of moving on with the video. But this law lays out several things that are not agenda specific, not aimed at helping any particular dog training flavor over another. And I think it's a really good start. I'm usually not one to jump on board with a whole lot of government oversight over stuff, but this makes sense. And my feeling is that something very similar to this is going to pop up in Colorado before too long. So here are the things listed in this truth in training law. And frankly, I think they're just smart, common sense things that any professional dog trainer should be fine with complying with. The first element of this truth in training law that has been passed in Florida is, is that dog trainers, and I'm pretty sure it means all dog trainers, must be licensed by the oversight organization. In Colorado, we're not all the way to that point yet. In Colorado, we only have to be licensed if we are training outside of the presence of the owner. So if someone is doing board and train or day training, or walk and train or anything like that, where they are away from the presence of the owner, they should be licensed. If they're not, they're training illegally. Now, if you're training if a dog trainer is going to do private coaching with you or group classes where the owner is there, they do not need to be licensed. It would not surprise me if that changes in Colorado for long, but for now, you should at least be aware of the licensing regulations that do exist in Colorado. Next element of the truth in training law in Tampa is that dog trainers must be insured. I think that particular law specifies that the trainer needs to carry at least $100,000 in liability insurance, and frankly, that is not a bad idea. Dogs are animals, and things happen, and the dog could jerk the leash out of the owner's hand while the trainer is working with the owner, or the dog could bite someone or attack another dog, or the dog could jerk free from the trainer, or a leash clip could break, or any number of things that could lead to that dog getting into a situation that can cause that dog to get injured or killed. It's really rare. I don't know that many trainers who have lost dogs to training scenarios, um, but it's not unheard of. It does happen from time to time. So when that does happen, Um, Dog trainers need to be covered. They need to have insurance. That's what insurance is for, is to protect the dog trainer and to make sure that stuff like that is taken care of. So if your dog trainer does not have insurance, that should raise some red flags for you. Another element of this Truth in Training Act in Tampa is that it requires dog trainers to have a background check that screens them for convictions of animal abuse. They've been to see if they've been legally convicted of animal abuse. So it's not based on opinions. It's not based on, um, you know, hearsay. It's not based on any sort of emotional outburst regarding how some dog trainer trains. It's based on legal convictions of animal abuse. And frankly, that only makes sense. I mean, you don't want somebody who's been convicted of animal abuse training your dog. I'm all for second chances, but this is a lot to me like gun control legislation. You don't want somebody who's, convicted of armed robbery to be allowed to buy and own a gun. Some people, we don't give second chances on certain things. So I kind of feel like this makes reasonable common sense. Now, the fourth element of this truth in training law I find very interesting. It requires a trainer to provide a written training plan for how they are going to train the owner's dog, what they're going to try to accomplish, how they are going to try to accomplish it, what risks are involved with how they are going to try to accomplish it, how long they think it's going to take to accomplish it, and I think even how much they're going to charge for the training. Um, in other words, the trainer has to really lay it all out on the line. And the consumer gets to see what they're getting into, they get to learn what it is that they can expect. Um, this is going to kind of shake up the dog training community. I actually don't know of any trainers right now that go into that much detail, including us. Um, but I think I'm going to start to. We already provide a really solid overview, and we talk a lot with clients about our methodology and whatnot. But we don't necessarily create a start to finish training plan in that with that level of detail. So we're actually going to start doing that. But um, yeah, I mean, the one of my colleagues brought up a point that I think is really valid, and that is that trainers, even I don't always know everything I'm going to do with a dog, how I'm going to go about solving every issue until I meet the dog, until I get to know the dog, until the dog gets to know me and is acting him or herself with me, until I try things and find out, hey, that approach may not work. We may need to kind of shift over here and do it this way. So I'm not sure that a law like that makes a lot of sense unless it allows some flexibility for the trainer. But I do think it creates a nice place to start so that the owner can really see kind of what they're getting into. One final element of this Truth in Training Act is that it requires dog trainers to report any incidents of injury or death that occur with dogs under their care. So this is pretty smart. Now, I will go back. I mentioned this before, but I'll reemphasize. Um, I know a ton of trainers, and I don't know that many trainers who have injured dogs or whose dog or who have had dogs under their care injured or dogs under their care die. It happens, um, but it should certainly not happen on any kind of a frequent basis. It should be extremely rare, and I think it is, at least here in Denver. But it is fair for the consumer to know, hey, this trainer, the dogs get injured with when they're with him? Do they get killed? I mean, have they lost dogs? fair enough. I mean, if I'm sending my dog somewhere to be trained or kept or cared for by somebody else, I want to know something about, that at least. So anyway, um, that concludes the things that I think any professional dog trainer should be okay with complying with. Um, it's not geared toward any particular trainer or any particular agenda. I have my own feelings about agenda. I have my own feelings about some other things that are predictors of how good a trainer is. For example, there's reviews, there are certifications, that sort of thing. But different trainers in different stages of their career are going to be different there. And I don't think that needs to make or break whether or not you hire a trainer. But these issues, licensing, insurance, background checks for animal cruelty, um, the ability to put together a decent training plan and reporting incidents of injury or death, I think that's fair to the consumer. And if that law passes in Colorado, I think I'll be okay with that. So anyway, again, Tom from Fetchmaster signing out. Please visit us at our website, www.fetchmasters.com. We also have a Facebook page, Instagram, Twitter. Would love to connect with you there. Take care.